Hi, I am Rima. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Join me to learn more. You can subscribe.
Let's talk about money. Have you ever felt like you're just playing a game? But nobody gave you the rule book. I mean, you could advice coming at you from everywhere. Right by this stock, you gotta start a side hustle. Get into crypto before it's too late. It is so confusing. Well, today we are gonna cut through all of that noise. We're gonna break down a really clear, step-by-step framework called the Sparrow Hierarchy. It's designed to give you a real actual path forward. So let's get into. And this quote. This really nails the whole problem, doesn't it? It's not that people aren't trying to build wealth. Of course they are. The issue is, they're trying to build the roof before they've even poured the foundation. You know they're jumping straight to investing when they don't have a solid income, or they're trying to scale some big business while drowning in debt. Look, the secret isn't just what you do. It's the order you do it in. If you get that sequence wrong, it's like trying to run a marathon. By starting at the finish line, it's never gonna work. So what if there was a ladder? A really clear step-by-step path, where every single run you climb leads logically to the next one. A path that makes your financial growth feel, well, almost inevitable. Imagine a system that just gets rid of all the guesswork and replaces it with a proven strategy. That is exactly what this hierarchy is all about. It's the ladder that's designed to get you out of that financial maze for good. Okay, so before we actually start climbing that ladder, I think it's super important we understand the maze that any people are trapped in right now, because honestly, once you can see the traps laid out in front of you, you'll know exactly how to sidestep them. So let's take a quick look at why the common approach to money usually just leads nowhere. Yeah, look at this. The difference is pretty much night and day, right? Over on the left, you have the common approach, which is just chaos. It's all reactive. You're chasing the latest hot trend. You're trying to invest the spare change you find in your couch without a real income engine. And way too often, you're racking up debt to pay for a lifestyle. But then you look to the right at the Sparrow Hierarchy. It's totally intentional. It's proactive. You build a skill first. Then you use that skill to create a surplus. And only then do you use that surplus to build systems. I see the difference. One's a total gamble. The other is a blue. Okay, so we've talked enough about the maze. Let's get to the map out. It's time to walk through the financial freedom ladder itself. We're going to break down the 6 specific steps in the right order to build on top of each other to create real, sustainable, lasting wealth. Then here it is. The whole shebang, the entire wealth stack. Now, notice the structure here. It's kind of like a pyramid. The bottom 3 steps. The foundation, that's your high income skill. Your financial surplus, and your scalable business. Those are all about generating capital. Then, the top 3. The cash flowing assets. The diversified portfolio and capital ownership. That's all about growing and protecting that capital. This right here is our roadmap. So, let's break it down. P by step. Alright. First things first. We have to build a rock-solid foundation. You know you can't build a skyscraper on sand, right? Well, these first 3 steps, they're the absolute bedrock of this entire structure. If you skip these, everything else you try to build on top is just going to be wobbly and unstable. So, let's get into the nitty-gritty of how you actually start. So, where do we begin? The absolute first run on this ladder. And this might surprise you. It isn't invest or save, nope. It's developing a high-income skill. It all has to start with earning. Because, let's be real, you can't invest money you don't actually have. Okay? So the most important thing to get here is that this skill, it's your personal wealth engine. We're talking about a skill that can realistically earn you a significant income, say over 10 grand a month. Why? Because that income is the fuel for every single step that comes after. This isn't about just chasing a bigger paycheck. It's about becoming so incredibly valuable in a specific area. Think copywriting or coding or high-ticket sales, that the money just naturally follows you. It becomes your personal machine for generating cap. Okay. So once that engine is fired up and it's generating income, now you've got the fuel. The very next step is to capture that fuel, and you do that by creating a financial surplus. This is where your discipline really meets opportunity. And believe me, it is the critical link to everything else we're gonna talk about. So what's a surplus? It's really simple. It's the gap between what you earn and what you spend. But listen, this is so much more than just savings. This isn't money you're putting away for a vacation or a new TV. Think of it as your war chest. It is the seed capital that you are going to plant in the very next step to grow something way, way bigger without this surplus. You've got zero ammunition. You can't build an empire on empty. Okay, now let's see how these first two steps really start to work together. Because this is where it gets exciting. You got your high-income skill, pumping out cash, and your financial surplus is like a bucket, collecting it. Now and only now, are you finally ready for step 3, building a scalable business? And this is the first huge leap you're going to take. I see up until this point, you've been trading your time for money, but a scalable business, that's a system that generates income, even when you're not physically there working. Maybe that's turning your freelance skill into a full-blown agency, or creating a digital product, or launching an e-commerce store. Whatever it is, this is your first true wealth-creating assets, and it is the thing that finally breaks that time for money change. So, with that solid foundation now in place, you've got the income, you've got the surplus, and you've got a scalable system. You are finally ready to start climbing the upper rungs of the ladder. This is the part where you shift from just building wealth to truly owning your entire financial future. Step 4 is a massive shift in thinking. Up until now, you have been working for money. Now we're going to flip that script. You're going to start making your money work for you. And the way you do that is by taking the Profi TS from your business and using them to buy cash-flowing assets. Here's a great way to think about it. Your business is like a goose that lays golden eggs, and those eggs are your profits. Now, instead of just taking those eggs and spending them, you use those golden eggs to go out and buy more geese. These new assets, maybe it's a rental property, maybe it's some dividend stocks. They start producing their own income streams, completely separate from your business. You're not just relying on one source anymore. You're building multiple rivers of cash flow. So once you've got these different assets, all generating income, the game starts to change a little bit. Your main priority isn't just about accumulation anymore. You shift from playing offense to playing defense. It's about preservation. And that brings us right to step number 5. Look, you've worked incredibly hard to build all this. Now you gotta protect it. Think of diversification as your financial insurance policy by spreading your investments out across a bunch of different asset classes. You know, stocks, bonds, real estate, maybe some commodities. You're building a financial fortress, one that's strong enough to handle market storms and those unexpected economic shocks. The goal here isn't about getting rich anymore. It's about staying wealthy. And that brings us to the very top, the peak of the hierarchy. This is the ultimate goal, the thing that every other step has been strategically building towards, achieving full capital ownership. This right here, this is the finish line. Capital ownership means you've reached the point where the income from all your combined assets, your business, your real estate, your portfolio, all of it, is more than enough to fund your entire lifestyle, comfortably, indefinitely. You are no longer required to work for a living. Your wealth stack is now doing all the heavy lifting for you, and trust me, this isn't just about being rich. This is about owning your time, and that is the ultimate freedom. So there you have it. We've climbed the entire ladder, from the very bottom to the very top. But if you only remember one single thing from this entire framework, what should it be? This is it. The real power of this framework isn't just in the individual steps themselves, but in their unwavering sequence. I'm going to say it again, order is everything. You simply cannot jump to step 4 without first mastering steps 1, 2, and 3. Trying to skip ahead is exactly why so many people get stuck and fail. You have to master each rung of the ladder before you even think about reaching for the next one. Be patient, be methodical, and you gotta trust the process. And that brings us to the final, and maybe most important question. This is the one for you to really think about. After this is over, I want you to take a good, honest look at your own situation and just ask yourself, which rung of the ladder am I building today? Look, this isn't about getting to the top by tomorrow. It's about knowing exactly where you are right now, and then focusing all of your energy on mastering that one single step, because that is how you build true lasting freedom.